back with more of the Guy Dawson Show at WCOBM.com, the World Center of Broadcast Media. I am here with the illustrious Quan to my left, and to Rev. He's been talking with us about birth dates, how the cards work. He's got on a nifty card tie there.
Oh my gosh, that's outstanding. Gosh, look at those colors.
What got you into this study?
Well, my background in college was I majored in physics, but I minored in comparative religions. And the reason why I majored in physics is because I have a passion for fixing things. But you can't fix something until you first understand how does it work. And physics teaches us how the universe works and then how to explain it mathematically. And then in comparative religions, what happened was I was always fascinated with the influential impact that religion has on its followers. And so upon discovering the differences, I became even more interested in where do they agree? You know, what's the common denominator? And what kept coming up was this word truth. And so in other words, like the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hindu scripture, says the truth is triumphant and always prevails in the end. The Holy Quran says that the truth is eternal and everlasting. The Holy Bible says the truth will set you free. So at this point I realized, well, then it's not religion that I seek. Where does one find this truth that they're all talking about? So I was in the middle of a high stakes poker game. It was high stakes according to my wallet. Okay, high stakes. And upon losing all my chips, the guy raking all the chips to himself, he said, well, the cards don't lie. And that just really struck me because, you know, I've just studied all these religions, but the deck of playing cards was this one stone that was left unturned. So I did an investigation into the deck of playing cards, and lo and behold, I discovered some extremely powerful things. I mean, statements that can be made on behalf of this deck that nothing else in existence can say. For example, no matter where you go in the world, if you walk into a casino, you will see that they're all in agreement around one deck and one deck only. Not tarot cards, not angel cards, but this is the deck that attracts all the money. Another thing that can be said about this deck of playing cards is that this is the only scripture in existence that remains unchanged since its origin. And there still exists no authority anywhere that can change the structure of this deck. In other words, there's not like the Bible, for example. There's 1,000 versions of the Bible. You've got the Catholic version, the Jehovah's Witness version, the King James version, the Book of Mormon, etc. Whereas with the deck of playing cards, there's only one version, and there's no King of Zaire or something that can say, we don't need this 3 of diamonds anymore. Get rid of it, okay? Because everyone knows intrinsically, there's an intrinsic understanding that we're deeply connected to this deck of playing cards. And so how does this all translate into our life in the context of time is there are 52 cards in the deck representing the 52 weeks in our year. There's also 12 face cards that are the jacks, queens, and kings, which represent our 12 months and the 12 a.m. and the 12 p.m. hours of the day. Then there's 4 suits, which are hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades, which represent the 4 directions of time. In space, we also have 4 directions that are north, south, east, and west. But remember, Albert Einstein, the greatest physicist, is most famous for proving the relationship between time and space, which is called the law of relativity, or E equals mc squared. Now, what that simply means for us is it means wherever you are, there's always the time you're there. Where you are is called a map of the United States. When you are, that's the time map that's available for everyone at the website thepower.com or thepower.org. Then the 4 directions of time are: hearts is when you advance emotionally, clubs is when you advance mentally, diamonds is financially, and spades is spiritually. You see, so everyone in existence is trying to advance in at least one of these areas, if not all of these areas. So my divine assignment in all of this is to prove that the name of the game in the deck of playing cards is not poker and blackjack, the name of the game is to succeed in these 4 areas: emotionally hearts, mentally clubs, financially diamonds, and spiritually spades. Then when we divide the deck in half, we have the hearts and the diamonds, which make the red cards, and the clubs and spades make the black cards. This red and black represents the positive and negative aspect of our existence, as in night and day, or inhale, exhale. Even if you jumpstart a car, you have to connect to a red and black terminal on the car, in your car, in order for that to happen. In other words, you can't disconnect the black cable from your car battery because you only want positive energy going in your car. The universe doesn't work that way, and neither does the car. Okay, so then there's 13 cards in every suit, from the ace to the king, representing the number of times that the moon orbits the earth each year. And when all 13 cards are laid out side by side in sequential order, the 7th card naturally sits at the center, having 6 cards on each side of it. And that 7 represents the center of the universe, where, it represents the number of days in the week. 7 days in the week. There's 7 color vibrations from red to violet that allow us to see. There's 7 musical tones from A to G that allow us to hear. There's even 7 holes visible when we look at each other. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Okay. So
Never looked at it like that.
okay. Okay.
Amazing.
So to make a long story short, too late. so to make a long story short, every day of the year has a card that is mathematically assigned to it. So anyone going to the website, The Power, it is 2 words, thepower.com, thepower.org. There you can look up your birthday on what's called the birth card chart. And what you're going to discover is you're going to see which card in the deck belongs to you. And that card is called your birth card. And what your birth card does is it serves 2 functions. One is that card describes personality characteristics about you, explaining why you are the way you are. So that addresses the ancient proverb of know thyself. The second function of your birth card is it serves as your primary identity symbol in the time map system, so that you can be located on any time map.
It was so interesting. I was telling Reverend after we got together that night, and he was telling me about my cards and my birth date and everything, and how accurate it was. I've done one of these in the past, and so to have him validate that was what was so impressive to me. I've done a time map before, and it really, I believed it the first time, but when you basically validated a lot of the things, and then you added some things, and when I started to do the introspection that you're talking about, and thinking about my character and the way that I really am, you just put the pieces together so well.
Thank you.
I think that's a very valuable thing, is to be able to know what your destiny is, to know what you're capable of. And then it's just free will, choices.
So,
Yes.
what are questions you usually asking people in order to tell them what's the future laid out for them?
Yes.
Like, what kind of a question you need to ask people?
Well, what it is what a map. If you're looking at a map of the United States, you would be able to point to where Nevada is, couldn't you?
I can't.
Okay.
Right now,
Oh,
that wasn't.
No, I'm
when
just
I
saying. But
arrived.
if you were looking at a map of the United States, you'd be able to point to where Nevada is, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So then, the first function of that map is to show you where you are. The second function of that same map is to show you what to expect if you go in any direction.
Yeah.
That map shows you that if you go north, it says expect Canada to come into your future. If you go south, expect Mexico to come into your future. So as far as the time map, what it does is it answers all of your most important questions. You see, pertaining to emotional issues, which, in other words, anything pertaining to love or family or romance or anything like that is going to be addressed in the hearts on your time map. And then any legal, planning, or educational issues will be covered in clubs. Any money, business, and priority issues are covered in diamonds. And all major issues, such as career, residence, and health issues, are answered in spades. So the deck of playing cards is used in an arbitrary way mathematically. In other words, they're not shuffled or any. There's a set mathematical arrangement, just in the same way that the sun rises on time and sets on time in a almost like with mathematical precision. It does that. So what happens is, it's called look before you leap, or the reason why you use headlights is because your headlights allow you to see ahead.
Reverend Tabidi, we're running into a commercial break. Let's take a short break, and we'll be back in a few minutes with more of the Guy Dawson Show.
More questions.